Hey everyone, this is Pramita here. Um, I'm about to start a series on how I prep my pages um, from the scratch. So I had been planning to do such a video for a long time, but unfortunately, I was tied up with a lot of other projects. So right now, this will be a series which will be posted every day and just to show you a progression of my pages. So this is for my month of March, and I also have my February in here, and I am still to catch up on some of the pages, like it's 8th today, and unfortunately I'm still stuck at 4th of March. So I plan to catch up on all these pages by today or tomorrow, and I will show you the progression how I have done so. So in the meantime, I would just say that I did use a lot of watercolors, but today I'm going to show you an alternative. If your pages are not um, suited for watercolors, you can always use your distress inks and stencils to create background. I often do that, so let me start doing that first. Of course, you can add or collage papers first and then go back to doing the stencils. It's totally up to you, and I will show that also, but before that I would like to add a little bit of stencil to the page. So let's begin. So this is my page. This is a blank page that I'm starting off with, and I will also show how I prep my pages. Okay, so just a second. I think there's something wrong with this. Okay, so here are my pages, and I am going to use stencils on them. So I keep my stencils in this altered envelope. This is a mailing, if you can see inside, this is a mailer that some of my goodies from came in from the US, and I have altered this to make a pouch. I've just added zipper from an old bag because the bag was falling apart. And I decided to retrieve this, and I added some decoupage paper on top. You can see this side, and it's holding up pretty well. I've just glued it on the envelope, and I'm using it to hold my stencils. I don't have a ton because I find that whenever I have too much, I often get overwhelmed. So this is the stencil I'm using. This is from a local brand in India, and it's pretty good quality. And these are my distress stains. I don't have a ton, as you can see, and some are plain simple ink because I found that once again too many stuff often confuses me, makes me puzzled, and I get overwhelmed. That's it. So I would rather prefer a few supplies that I can work with, and find new ways. That's my brain. Okay, so let me put this down, and I use this fingertip daubers. I know I'm horrible with the Tim Holtz ones, and I'll just do a little bit of here and there. It will just give a succulent kind of look. The so I would not do the whole page. It's going to be like so, very random and very light. So I might go in a little bit here and add a little bit of green. Now this is not green basically, this is peeled paint. So I don't have a ton of distress stains, as you can see, and it works out fine with me because too much of supplies won't help me. I realize that. So I can work with the minimal supplies. No worries about that. So I'm just going to stencil some areas. Similarly, I'm going to do this on the same, on this page too. And I have talked about the size of this journal. This is a little bit wider than the standard traveler's notebook size. More on the May Designs book or wide traveler's notebook. That's partly because I wanted more real estate, and this was a bigger size notebook, so I could cut it to the size I wanted. So that's that. I don't want to overpower the page too much because of course I'm going to add a ton of things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move away my distress stains, and now I'm going to work with the papers. Now I have a few papers lying here with me and I can work with them, and I'll show you how I do these stuff. So okay, so this is a book page, okay, and I want this to be on the page. This is for no rhyme or reason because I don't plan out things very much, and what I would do is I would just trim this part a little bit, but I don't want this red part. I just want the book, the script part. So I'm just tearing this. So I will do this, and I will also tear this part up. These are from book pages. I have used the pictures of the flowers, and now I'm using the script also. So basically I use every tiny little bit that is left of a page, and the process is a bit tedious, like layering stuff up, sifting through pages and deciding what would go and what wouldn't. So I would add like this, maybe like so. So I can add it over here just to break the page. Yeah, so I'm going to ink the edges up a little bit just to give it a bit of prominence, otherwise it will look a little bit dull. But I don't do it in the traditional inking up the pages sort of thing. I will just give the edges a little bit of definition, not too much, because this is not an art journal page. This is the page from my daily journal, and I don't want this to override everything. So basically this is going to be the base of things that I would put down. So maybe this will be on more of a florals page, because sometimes I work like this, sometimes I don't think what are the theme I can use, but sometimes something, some center piece sort of thing which speaks to me, I choose that as my main piece and then I work around it. So I'm going to do this. So this is a bit of a floral, so I might layer this up. So maybe I can put something over here, but right now I won't do anything. I will use this washi strip sheet. Now what I do is I have quite a few wide washi rolls which are very cumbersome to be used in a journal. So what I do is I have these junk mail pages. These are all from junk mails, and I just laid down these washi strips and make them work as pattern papers, or the designer papers or that sort. So I'm just going to tear off a bit from here, and you'll see how it works. It's just like a paper now because you have adhered the washi on to this junk mail, and that's that. So I'm going to lay this, and then I'm going to lay this, and maybe I can add something later on. Okay, so let me put these two down first, and then I'll work on the rest. So I have various techniques of putting together a page, but this is my usual favorite style. If you don't want to use wet media, you can simply, because I'm sorry if the camera is shaking a little bit because I'm gluing this part up. If you don't want to use wet watercolor sort of thing, then it's fine. You can use your distress inks, or you can stencil something on them. So this is how I'm going to lay this. I'm going to cover this white part. Yeah, so it's going to be like so. I will not glue the whole part. You know how I keep the edges unglued, because sometimes I tuck things in and then I glue them down. So this is how it's looking. So now what I can do is I can look through my book pages, and these are some of the boxes that I store my papers in, and this is a book page sort of place where I keep all my stuff that I plan to use. So I will go through stuff, not a very big one because I already have a big piece going on. I might go in for some. Okay, so let me look if this is going to be okay. I think this is going to be okay, or maybe this one. But this is too big, so I might go with this. Yeah. So if I put this on, then I'll still have plenty of space to put other things on. So I can do that, but I think personally I prefer this. Now, I told you before I don't glue the whole part up because I often, I'm sorry, I'm just moving this camera a little bit like so, because I often tuck things in like so, just to give a little bit of dimension maybe. So let me see if I can work something like so. So this is going to be like this. So I think this is okay, better. So I'm going to put it like so. Okay. So this is from a botanicals book. I have a series of books on botanicals. I did show this as my thrift store haul on my channel, and you can check it out. So this is how I've layered this, and I can still go in with a lot of stuff. Okay, so this page is more or less done. I've already layered three things, and I'm going to work on this page. And for that, I am going to do something different. Okay, so this is another thing that I had done. This was also from chunk mail. And what I did was this is a tissue paper, and I've just glued the tissue paper on this chunk mail just to give it a book page kind of look. And the tissue paper becomes easy to handle, because if you want to decoupage or use a tissue paper just like that, sometimes it's difficult, to manipulate everything on a journal page. So if you've adhered it on a piece of paper, it becomes like a cardstock paper, pattern paper, and then you can go back and use it as you like. So I might use that, or I might use this because I have this ephemera. I want to use that. So maybe just give me something to look at. I want to change this. I'm going to take this off. I'm sorry. I'm going to take this off, and I want to use this. This is a better option. I keep on changing stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I like to use glue stick in my journals, because I constantly change my mind sometimes, not always, but sometimes. So I'm going to use this. This is a piece of ephemera from a paper pad, and it has a little bit of shine to it. And what I like about it is the life of a flower, and you have a flower over here. So that's okay by me. Now I'm going to work on this page. So what I can do is I can go through my stash once more, and I don't want a very grungy looking page, but not very cheerful also. So what I can do is I have a piece of painted vellum, and I want to bring out the pinks and the greens from this page onto this page. So I might use this, and I'm going to tear a little bit. By now you must be knowing, and how I tear up pages using my journals. And if you're using a stencil, and you adhere the vellum, this is a piece of vellum which I've painted on. The stencil comes through, it adds a kind of dimension, and it's pretty interesting looking. So that's what I like about this. And hopefully hopefully this will be okay. So for my next part, I'm going to do something which will continue in this fashion. So bye for now. Watch out for the second part.